Hi, everybody. Welcome to our bi-weekly podcast on shortcuts. So, just to recap, and for those of you who are new to this podcast, this is Enzo here. I'm BD lead at Enso. I have with me Ninette, Devrel at Enzo, and Mark from Nuvolari AI. Every 2 weeks, we conduct one episode of podcast to showcase a special project that is using Enso shortcuts to build. And today, well, as what we have done the past few episodes, we have done a lot on Dev AI, which is DeFi come AI, and today will be in a similar vein. So I'm very excited to present to you my two guests here. First of all, Ninette will present a bit about Enzo, and then after that, Mark will go on to tell us about his project. And after that, we will also have a live demo, and then we will open the floor for the audience to ask questions, and then we will end it. And if you're listening right now, and if you have any questions that you have that you might want to ask any one of us, or if through the podcast you suddenly think of questions you want to ask, feel free to leave a comment. Our moderators will be looking at the chat and the comment section, and we will answer your chats at the end of the session. Of course, follow Enzo Build and Nuvolari AI on all our socials. All right, let's begin now. Ninette, do you want to start with a quick introduction of Enzo?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Lindy, for the great opening. So let's discuss a little bit what's the problem that Enso is solving. When we have this many different innovative DeFi protocols that serve so many people, um, the issue that happens is that if you want to integrate them and stack them together and combine them to achieve different DeFi workflows, then you need to know a lot of solidity. So you really need to go deep into integration. You need to go into understanding those contracts. You need to, of course, go for auditing of those integrations and so on. And that is, well, time consuming, resource consuming, and like instead of building the product that your end users want, you have to deal with all of that. And so is actually giving developers and product builders in DeFi space shortcuts to get to those complex DeFi workflows without actually having to go through all that hell. So how that may look like, for example, if you want to enter one position from the one that you have, you could just call the route API, which essentially traverses all the protocols that we have integrated, and it's quite a number of protocols, and the number keeps growing, and finds the best route to get from one position to another. So that's sort of like very very convenient because you just have to state, hey, I have this, I want that, how can I get it? And so gives you a shortcut, and that shortcut is actually the call data that you can execute on the chain. But to gain more control over more sophisticated workflows, there's also other APIs. There's the bundle API, where you can specify a bunch of different actions across different protocols, so not only one, and you can even connect results of those actions as they execute. So essentially, it's like piping in Bash. You have one action, and then you pipe it to another, and so on. So you can achieve really almost anything that you can imagine, combining different protocols that are in there. So essentially, it's getting shortcuts to executing the DeFi workflows. I think this is the easiest I can explain it. I don't know, Mark. What do you think? How does that sound to you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for the invitation. Really glad to pitch Nuvolari today, and also glad for our collaboration and be part, of course, of the Shortcut Mafia. So definitely cannot agree more with you. Yeah, definitely our main use case here for Enzo is shortcuts, and it helped a lot on the development process, and it helped a lot also on basically building rapport and trust with our first users. And yeah, I will dive deeper into that. But yeah, if you want, I can do a quick intro on why we're building Nuvolari.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe you could give us an intro on your product. What is your product and the rationale? Why did you build this product? What is the hole in the market that you're intending to fix, and how do you set about going about to doing it, and your history prior to this, etc.
Yes. Yeah, so Nuvolari, with Nuvolari, we're building an AI wealth assistant that can basically leverage multiple AI workflows and either automate or execute in one click everything on chain. Shortcuts are a big part of this. Why are we building this? We believe that wallets are a temporary solution to navigate the current Web3 UX experience overall. And a lot of people have been saying that DeFi is fragmented and it's complex, and it's not anymore 2019 or 21 where you have very few DeFi opportunities. There's a ton of them, and we pretty much are overloaded with a lot of opportunities. And most of the time, even if we are just managing 2-3 positions in size, we pretty much end up during a nice dinner or a nice Sunday evening or while touching grass in actually being worried about whether we are out of range, whether we should rebalance our portfolio, or whether we actually journaled our trades or signed our trades, or maybe just jiggling between our Zeron wallets or Rabi wallets or other wallets, you name it. So basically, while building DeFi protocols, and also was a part of a large European broker, we understood that a lot of our basically friends pretty much get distracted by managing their DeFi portfolios, and that's basically a waste of time. We believe this is not a meaningful basically activity. For example, opening a spreadsheet every time you do a trade, or opening deck screener multiple times a day, or pretty much opening 3-4 different dexes to get the best rate is not basically what we sign up for when choosing self-custody. And specifically for on-chain power users, and basically it's what we're targeting with Nuvolari. We want to provide a tool that saves you time, and in the future also automates all of these tasks. And the easiest way to explain what we're building is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Apple Spotlight or Raycast. I don't know, Lindy, Nenad,
No,
Raycast?
just assume we're not familiar with any of these stuff.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Apple Spotlight is pretty much just common spacebar. So it's your quick search. Actually, as 20 years old, I was pretty surprised about that. But they built this search kit that instead of searching by folders, it's search by metadata. And we basically take inspiration from there. So we believe that users should have a very intuitive way of finding things and doing things on chain. And we basically recreating Apple Spotlight for everything on chain, whether it's a swap or rebalance, or claiming your fees on an LP position, or just simply tracking your portfolio. And yeah, that's pretty much the background.
Okay, what I'm hearing from you is that you dumb down a lot of very complicated stuff. Now, as a very normal user, I'm not doing any super complicated stuff. So maybe I haven't maximized the potential of what DeFi can probably bring me. Could you give me some specific examples of what do you mean by batching transactions? Like, what is there to batch? And what is the benefit of me batching these transactions?
I mean,
And
it's on. Yeah, sure. I mean, batching transaction is, in a very simple way, is when you have, for example, an approval and actually a deposit transaction, or when you actually have a DeFi strategy that has more than 2-3 operations. Basically, a big advantage would be just execute in one click. That's why we're using Enso as well.
Okay.
So basically, it's a definition.
Give me a specific example. What do you mean by 2-3 transactions? Like what? I deposit in Uniswap and that's it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. For example, let's say you want to actually generate yield on basically the LP Uniswap. Let's say I'm basically supposing you're adding liquidity on Uniswap on a specific pair. Let's say the LP that you actually get out of it, maybe you want to earn additional yield on it. There's a lot of DeFi Legos that are possible nowadays. For example, on Sonic, there's a protocol called Rings. Pretty much what you can do is take your USD and earn a yield by staking into Rings. You can just stake it and do nothing with it, or you actually can put it into work. So additionally, on top of their API of Rings, which is basically a batch of different stablecoins, you can actually put into work in an LP strategy. So an idea of a batch transaction would be stake USD to receive SCUSD, and then use this SUSD to provide it into a lending strategy on Silo, for example. In this case, we get both yields of SCUSD and also as a lender to basically a lending and borrowing market on Silo, for example. Yeah, so pretty much that's just a simple example. Or whether you actually want to, let's say, move from one chain to another, instead of bridging first and then swapping a token against the other, you can pretty much just swap it into the destination token, for example. That's also another example of batching. Yeah.
I see
Of
that.
course, I'm not going to go with complex strategy like looping or basically getting leverage in DeFi. It's just very simple. So you stake somewhere, you get an LST token, and then you want to use this LST token and earn an additional yield. That's really at least 3 to 6 transactions.
Macromark was just explaining to us how we can batch different types of protocols together to get even higher yield. I'm sure many new people who come into crypto, who come into DeFi, they don't even know that such thing exists. So especially since that, because these kind of interfaces, AI interfaces and abstraction interfaces where you abstract gas and you abstract steps, the main demographic of your target market is people who just come into DeFi and people who don't really know how to execute these strategies. So one of the phenomena that I have encountered in my various conversations with people, especially in the Dev AI sector, is that because all these people are new, they don't even know that these transactions could be done, let alone give the AI instructions to batch them. So yeah, I guess this is something that maybe your bookmarks could help, because I saw that in your bookmarks page you have a whole web of different protocols. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing. Nina, is there anything you want to chip in about that?
Actually, I'm very eager to see the whole thing in action. More than
Sure.
anything.
Shall we move on?
Of course. Yeah. So just a quick recap. So what we said actually. So for the ones that just joined. So pretty much batching transaction is very important for all users, and even for a newbie user, a lot of cool strategies can be possible by using multiple DeFi protocols. So the way batching works is you can actually combine different protocols into one transaction, and without basically going and navigating into multiple strategy. Actually, when it comes to what Nuvolari is trying to solve is it's mainly the execution. So we are very bad at reminding ourselves of making a specific trades or actually executing upon a DeFi strategy. Let's say you heard this space and you heard about the names we mentioned and the protocols, and then pretty much you bookmark your this space or a thread, and then you're not going to execute it in a couple of days or in a week. So basically, we believe that it's a combination of overwhelming signals. So there's a lot of different strategy, a lot of different threads, a lot of different spaces. Plus, you have most probably your portfolio fragmented on multiple chains and wallets. And finally, you're pretty lazy, so you're not going to execute that transaction. So what we came up with is that what we realized that we save a lot of bookmarks, and a lot of alpha is basically hiding under this bookmark. So we decided to build a side product. This is a very simple product that we decided to build, which basically showcases the best threads on the Sonic ecosystem now, and showcases the relationship between the threads. And each one of this, it's a Twitter thread. And pretty much what it does is actually summarizing the thread and also showcasing how many different things are related to the thread. So I will explain it better. So imagine you're just on Sonic, you save the thread, and then pretty much you're not going to take action. Here you can see all the protocols mentioned, all the actually tokens and tickers mentioned. You can filter it here, by the way. Let's say I don't want to see the tickers. Let's say I don't want to see the keywords. I only want to see the protocols. For example, I will basically check and see extra data on the protocols that are mentioned by specific QL or a thread that I saw on chain. So this is something that we built just to give back to the community and basically help you navigate a lot of opportunities that are live on Sonic. So I'll just show an example here. So basically what we're doing is just a breakdown of the strategies that are mentioned in the thread. And as you can see here, we're just using Anthropic. So yeah, pretty much we have an executable step. So you can call them shortcuts in some sense, but it's just a reminder for you. And these are all the best bookmarks on Sonic, and in the future we will have a connection with your Twitter own bookmarks. And if you'd like to have that product, please drop us a DM or actually join the waitlist. And yeah, in this case, we have a breakdown of the specific strategy. Let's say, for example, here I can swap SC/USD on Sonic for the bridge points. So actually, if I do that on the bridge, I'm going to get some points. Or here, for example, I've other strategies on Shadow. So the main idea is that with Nuvolari, you will be able to execute that in one click. So this is just a very simple showcase on basically how much insights we can get from a single thread, how much protocols are mentioned, basically how many tickers are mentioned, how many strategies. And the goal of Nuvolari is to simplify that and let you execute in one click. So we definitely resonate with the shortcuts of Enso. We're currently live with a private alpha on Sonic, and I will dive deeper into that. I will show that in action on mainnet. And yeah, that's possible in a very short term thanks to Enso. And we have 22 protocols live on Sonic already.
Oh, that's quite impressive. I do have a little question. The strategies that popped up there, is that something that's a fixed list, or is it a growing list?
Yeah. So for now, are curated. So every week we update the list, and we actually today we're gonna update it with the new bookmarks already. You saw it already now live, but we're gonna announce it actually. You were the one who see it first. And yeah, we create it now, and in the future, you will just basically connect to Twitter, and we will parse your bookmarks. So you will see all your bookmarks visualized. It's going to be an horrendous experience because there's going to be a lot of them, but hopefully it's going to help you actually execute on them, get back to that research, check out the strategy, learn more about the protocol mentioned. If that protocol has only, I don't know, 5 million of TVL or 1 million of TVL, maybe you should reconsider entering based on your risk profile. And actually Nuvolari, just sneak peek, will be able to basically recognize that for you and just show you the protocol that based on your risk profile you should be interacting the most. But I don't want to spoil it too much now.
I was saying, not sure if it got cut off. That it reminds me a lot of Kaito. So it's like you connect to Twitter, right? And then Kaito does some analysis, but then the metrics mentioned, and you also do analysis, which is super similar. And you also have a dashboard for people to see, and you can click into the different tweet threads. But then for yours, the metric is strategies.
Yes, correct. I mean, Kaito is an amazing inspiration. I mean, I've been yapping a lot, and definitely providing a very new cool primitive of mindshare, and basically and also giving the right space for creators over the board. I believe, I mean, we're not even close to that. We're just pretty much showcasing how many things are related to a single thread. And ideally it would be cool to integrate them as well to showcase also the popularity. And one of the ideas here with my co-founder as well, Freddie, is that you should actually get a reputation score while interacting with these DeFi protocols. Because if you have a lot of smart followers on, let's say, Silo Finance, most probably it's safer to interact. So it's just an extra layer that would be cool to integrate. Actually, I'm just that's just like a brief idea, but I think that's the we part. This should be part of the journey of investing or depositing into a protocol. I mean, a lot of people are pretty much using Twitter as a search engine, which we all know is pretty crap. And definitely a lot of people judge by basically neutrals and smart followers. But I still think that that's a very big impact on actually these protocols and their growth, etc. So that would be cool actually to integrate them.
So you mentioned that you're in private beta right now. How many people are using this private beta?
So we currently have a private alpha, so it's pretty much even rough. It was from a DeFi AI hackathon for Sonic, and yeah, we pretty much shared to our close partners and early users, and yeah, pretty much now we have a wait list of early users. We will actually send out the access to this protocol. And yeah, so for now, I cannot share. There's very few people testing it out, but Bookmarks itself is up and running and is getting sturdy. There's good numbers and it's free for everybody. And I think later today I can showcase the app as well on Sonic.
Yeah, I am curious to know about the demographic of the people who are in the private beta and their feedback on it.
Yeah, for sure. So what we did, the current approach is that we actually have insights on the private beta. So the insights pretty much are. I will need to go a little bit, few step backs, so to actually give you a picture. So the counter thesis that we have with Nuvolari is that NLP and open queries are just one of the ways to interact with DeFi, and we believe that the user should have the most intuitive UX possible. So if somebody is actually just very familiar with yield aggregators, let's say DeFi, they just want to filter and click through things and pretty much start their strategy through that way of interacting with the protocols. Other people prefer to just actually get recommendation, and then here comes the insights that I'll showcase you in a bit. And also we're working on our own shortcuts, which are powered by Enso, but the shortcuts in Nuvolari are actually, let me quickly share the screen so you'll have a clear idea of what I'm talking about. So actually this is a sneak peek. Okay, so let's say we want to go and search for a specific strategy. Let's say I want to add liquidity. Actually, let's go back. Let's go for something simpler. Let's say actually I want to get some yield. These are the assets that Nuvolari is recognizing on your portfolio. Let's say I want to get some yield with ETH. These are basically three options based on my risk profile, or aka what we call mood.
Sorry. Are you sharing your screen? Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah.
Because we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
I will share.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me share again.
We're not seeing it.
Can you see it now?
Yep. Can see it now. That's great.
So,
I think you again.
So I'll just go back and showcase another strategy. So in the case of adding liquidity, let's say I want to add liquidity. These are the assets that I have in my portfolio, and the Nuvolari system is recognizing that. Let's say I want to actually add liquidity with Sol USDC. These are three pools that are given based by my mood. And the mood is basically a combination of your on-chain history, your preference during the onboarding, and basically all the protocols you interacted with. Let's say I want to go with this pool, and let's say we're going to go easy mode. We're going to go 50-50 range. Here we have a recap of the forecasted fees and basically how much I'm actually adding in liquidity, and boom, pretty much in a few clicks, I added basically liquidity. So this is just to explain and showcase what we mean by shortcuts. So a shortcut is, you can see it as a Gmail autofill. That's pretty much it. So, and going back to my discussion about our counterparties is that you don't want to prompt into existence a swap or add a liquidity somewhere. So that's the big difference between other DeFi AI protocols. Is that, yeah, we believe that NLP is just it's still very, it's not the most optimal way to interact. Of course, we're going to support that as well for the users that want to use that, but we're taking a more deterministic approach. It's more pragmatic. So you pretty much have an autofill with the assets that you want to deploy, and yeah, so basically it saves you time. So here we're optimizing for time save, and yeah, so that's a bit of our context of Nuvolari and our counter thesis, and why we believe that UX is a very big factor here, because abstracting away DeFi is already in action, and we can see that with Royco, powered by you guys, and we can see by many protocols that allow basically to deposit and enter into a strategy in one click, and that's great. And also many different protocols in one click, as we mentioned at the beginning. But we believe that also abstracting away agents is also important. And what I mean by that? So we're building and orchestrating basically an assistant that has multiple workflows. These are not agents for now, but they will be agents in the future, which actually execute different sets of tasks. Can be basically on-chain data. It can be market sentiment data from Kaito or Cookie Tree. It can be a market risk assessment or your own risk assessment. All these workflows, which basically are automations, are basically working in parallel for you. So the user that lands on Nuvolari, he can either check his mood and his portfolio and track his all balances and see insights. And the insights are updated basically on the workflows that I mentioned, or he can actually showcase an intent. And our goal now is being very good at recognizing intents, aggregating them, and then move towards an intent minimization and go to AGI and pretty much minimizing the input of the user. And the market now is taking an opposite approach. So pretty much it's saying, here's my agent, throw 50K on it, but nobody trusts these agents with size. And why? Because you don't know that prompt works. You need pretty much a prompt guide. All different protocols need their own prompt guide. So our take is just showcase the UI that you're familiar with, introduce in a smooth way, basically AI-powered tools, which can be workflows for now, and then in the future be a kind of a marketplace of agents. So you can find here the best agent for yield optimization. You can find the best agent for DCA strategy, for example, in talks with Alora. And pretty much an implementation would be, they're very good at predicting price on BTC and ETH and other high capitalization assets. You have a DCA strategy in Nuvolari. What we're going to do is we're going to suggest you to start a DCA strategy maybe 5 minutes later or 4 hours later, based on the inferences powered by Alora, for example. That's an example of an implementation. But you will see powered by Alora, but you don't need to tag Alora. You don't need to actually construct your own agent just for the DCA. And that's pretty much our take on the status of the market. It's very complex. Like, these UIs are very complex. You, of course, maybe in the future, I want to do an algo bot or a checks to DEX bot or arbitrage opportunity. But it's this pretty much it's very limited for a very giga-brain set of user. And we want to target everybody that is on chain, is doing a lot of actions, maybe on a daily basis, maybe once a week. And we know that our art is actually executing that, and it's every time is a couple of hours. So we're actually working on optimizing the time and saving you time there. And shortcuts with Enso play a big role here. So the way execution works with Nuvolari is that we recognize the intent from the beginning, and then we basically pass this information to Enso, and Enso basically helps us with the intent engine to execute this intent for the users. And finally, the user can interact with this with their external own account. And what we do is create a smart account for them. So that's the whole flow. And I think I went too much rambling into the tech details. Glad to see if there's any questions from the audience or from you guys.
I do have one question. You mentioned that your main target is people who are on chain and they conduct a lot of transactions. So I was just thinking, in addition to the retail consumer who's going onto the chatbot and to chat certain instructions, have you considered that maybe institutions or maybe big whales might have a use for your product as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. So absolutely, like we talking now, we spoke with more than 40 on-chain users. Many of them actually are on-chain asset allocators. So some of them have a little hedge fund, or some of them have a DeFi portfolio under management with few friends, or on a larger scale. And we definitely understood there's so many ways of these people that actually they manage their assets. And I will just make a few examples for you. There's people that, for example, have different DBanks bundles, and they manage their assets from there, and the execution is from hot wallets and cold wallets. Then there is somebody else that has actually on a watch only on Ethereum some of his assets, and then it executes only on DeFi Llama aggregator or CoSwap, for example. So, but what you can see, the pattern is that it's all these steps are very tedious. Like the execution flow is pretty long. So you don't have basically a bridge between the information you're getting, let's say, for example, Twitter or your alpha groups or Telegram or any signal that you see from the market, the enrichment of this data, which is, for example, DeFi Llama, Cookie Tree, Kaito, etc., and the execution itself, which can happen basically on CoSwap or Uniswap or whatever is your preferred DEX or aggregator. So to answer your question, they seem to have the same problems that also retail power users have. It's just that they need basically it doesn't have to be basically trust guarantee. So they need to have basically a better infrastructure and a better setup, a better understanding of how basically their assets are interacting with such protocol. And in this case, our answer is, of course, Enso for the Intent Engine, for example. And the second answer is we're gonna most probably use either Safe or Zero Depth for basically the end connection with the user assets. And in that case, basically we're gonna rely on a better tech on the wallet level. There's gonna be allowances. You can basically whitelist protocols, and basically that's for the security part of things. But overall, what we see that the B2B segment or the institutional segment would basically require a set of features that is completely different. So then they would like to iterate and progressively add bricks to the Nuvolari interface. But for now, we're deciding to actually showcase it to the users first and find the first, basically most active 100 users and talk with them, as we're already doing now, and understand whether they want to optimize their LP management, or whether they're optimizing tracking their portfolio, whether they're optimizing basically their execution on chain or finding the best rates. So yeah, just to answer your question, we're now focusing on a retail.
I'm glad you said that, because the superpower of Enso is actually lies in our bundle endpoint, in which it is more than single action. So it's not just like you add liquidity to a pool, or not just like you add deposit into a vault, but more of like you do many different sort of actions, and then it's all bundled up, and then you just execute it at once. So like an example that you said previously, right? You deposit into a liquidity pool, and then you use the LP to deposit in a vault, and then you stack the yield. And then, so yeah, a lot of institutional clients are using Enso as well in a similar fashion. For, let's say, the lending market, they have a liquidation bot that they use at the back. Or one example is also, let's say, DEXs or vaults, in which they do automated strategies, asset management to increase yield. So I do see that this is a growing sector, especially as DeFi grows. There's getting more and more competition for yield, not only between protocols, but between chains as well. So yes, this cross-chain DeFi thing is something that we are working on, and we are super excited, and we're going to release it in the next few weeks. So yeah, back to what I was saying, I'm really glad that you discovered it, and that you're making use of it.
And what's the alpha on Enso? glad to also ask you some questions on that. So yeah, so what's coming next on the network level, or maybe you can basically make some announcements or any cool information. I mean, the main question I would have is how you guys managed to have so many protocols, like 70 plus protocols that you can that are integrated with you, and yeah, how you manage basically scaling this infra.
Yeah, well, as Lindy mentioned, what's in the future is actually tackling the cross-chain problem. So having that it's not only cross protocols but also cross-chain, and that's like the work that that the team is really tackling right now. And your second question was, how come we have that many protocols in our system? So the fact is, some of them are integrated, and some of them come through aggregators. So it's sort of a mix of those two, and of course we're relying on other services that let us get the data about positions and tokens and all that stuff, namely Llama. So I think that pretty much hopefully answers your question. Lindy, did I forget something maybe?
No, all good, all good. Yeah, okay, so now it's your turn to give us some alpha. What's next for Nuvolari?
Of course. What's next? We talking with users. So please, if you like what you saw and what you saw on Twitter as well, join our waitlist. We actually talk with users on a daily basis. So if you have any feedback, DMs are open. And also the alpha is coming, is that we actually working closely on a new set of features. We're testing everything that is around LP management. Whether it's you basically going out of range, or whether you're not tracking the fees you're making, or whether you're not tracking the price of actually the assets. Yeah, so we finding optimization in that, and pretty much what I would like to invite you guys is everybody on the audience is reach out to us if you have any feature requests, and also test basically our bookmarks, and also check out the demo that we published on Sonic. And soon we're gonna work on basically releasing good things for LP people, whether it's on the notification side or on the management side. There's gonna be some cool features, so definitely stay tuned. What I can also showcase is our private alpha now on Sonic.
Yeah, please.
And I will just screen share as well. If we can, actually, we have the time. Yes?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Amazing. So I'll share my screen. So the way it actually works, and I will share my screen in a few seconds. Basically, what we have now live is insights. So the insights are personalized strategies.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're not sharing your screen. Actually, we're not getting the share.
Yes.
There we go.
Here it comes. So basically, this is the private alpha. It's a bit rough, but this is live on Sonic. It's fully in production. As you saw now appearing, we have insights, and these are based on your own chain history and the protocol interacted. We partner with Octave.fi for actually fetching your balances, your DeFi positions, and everything like that. And these are all insights that are basically produced just in time. And these are all strategies that are available based on my unique mood. Insights here basically are one of our edges, so one of our pivotal basically features is that you can actually receive a personalized strategy based on basically how you behave on chain. And that's why we actually are first talking with on-chain users, because we need to understand their behaviors, how much time they actually spend on navigating protocols, entering into these positions, etc. But so yeah, actually these insights are updated, as you can see. these insights get updated and pretty much are basically getting into market data input and also getting inputs from your on-chain history. I will quickly share again. Okay, I think we're almost ready to share again. Yes, here it comes. So for example, here, fetch the balance again, and the insight's gonna be updated. The insights basically take around 40 seconds to 1 minute to load. And basically soon we're gonna see an updated insight. What the insight actually suggests you is the protocol you can interact with in one click, and this is powered by Enso. We have 22 protocols supported. And for example, let's say I want to stake USDC on our V3. The amount is actually powered by our model. I go and execute, and pretty much now, of course, I have basically an interaction with a wallet, with an external like wallet. But what is going to happen is actually
is it executing now?
So you're not going to actually sign. Yeah, it's executing now. Actually, it's just my second basically is opening the wrap in another screen. I will get back to it soon. So actually now it's executing.
This is very many protocols you have here.
on-chain.
I just wanted to ask, you said you mentioned that you're using Enso shortcuts so that you get all these protocols up and available. How much dev time has you actually saved?
So yeah, so as you see, the execution is pretty fast. It's very, very fast. And yeah, we saved a lot of time because from the protocols, we actually researched. We needed at least 10, 15 of them. We managed to integrate 22 of them. And this was very time sensitive. This was as an Acton build. So we needed to be fast. And definitely we saved at least 2-3 weeks of development resources, that's for sure. And yeah, so we also basically, the way it works, that insights are taking into consideration our own risk framework. And what we actually assess is protocols, pools, and of course, basically the assets. And all this basically combined create our basically risk assessment workflow. And we showcase specific protocols if you have a specific risk profile. And yeah, and with Enso, we managed to work mainly on that, so focus on the AI part of things, and basically aggregating debank data, octave data, and basically your on-chain data. And finally, the execution is pretty much just filtering through protocols and showcasing you 5 protocols or 10 protocols out of 22. And that's our current
So
setup.
other than the range of protocols available on Enso, what is something that you find that as a developer you really, really like about Enso product that you find it very difficult to find outside?
Yeah, I think that's the managing complexity. So overall, like the complexity of integration and also automating some flows. Basically, we pretty much you help us in actually recognizing the intents and pretty much, yeah, we can pass you the raw signal and you actually transform it into pure basically execution. So that's what we like the most. And pretty much shortcuts are basically a pre-made combination of actions, and we don't have to do that. We don't have to build that. So it's all powered by Enso. So it's not only the integration time and the lead time of adding these protocols, but also is the shortcuts that are basically have flows mapped already, and yeah, so pretty much optimizing the transaction and fulfilling basically the intent that we.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your DevX with Enso?
I mean, I'm not a core dev here, and definitely will need to speak with my co-founders. But yeah, I would say it's a solid 10 out of 10. we testing a lot of different protocols, but I from what I heard, it's good. But yeah, so of course it was very great to catch up with you guys, and also nurturing a relationship is very great during events and during when we were building past protocols, and very happy that to get on board with you guys and get here to showcase the product in a very quick time frame And finally, overall, like what we need as a small team, like we're not a huge building team, we're not a venture builder that has 20 people. We actually need to iterate fast, and we need to deploy very fast, and basically shape our product market fit the faster. So you enable that, so that's a very good value for us and very good experience.
Okay, we don't have any audience questions for today. Maybe some last comments from Ninette and from Macromark, and then we'll end the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the shortcuts sort of focus that we share, I think it's pretty amazing. And I don't know, when I think about what Nuvolari can bring actually to not only the power users that you mentioned, but also people who know stuff on the surface, I think that holds great potential for the future. And I don't know, maybe you could also share a thought. How do you see this type of work impacting wider adoption of blockchain and DeFi in this world?
Yeah, I think here is a very simple topic, is that if we simplify basically DeFi and it becomes a backend, right? Basically, users just have all their yields in one click, and what we need to do is just reduce complexity. So the main goal of Nuvolari is reduce complexity and also save you time doing daunting tasks and very boring on-chain activities. And well, I'm not saying that DeFi is boring. Of course, I have fun farming on Sonic, farming on Barrett Chain, and pretty much finding the best yields there. But it's also not for everybody. So for mass adoption, we need to simplify that. We need to simplify also DeFi leverage with looping. We need to make this accessible. It cannot be just a smart account that you can activate on mainnet with minimum $20,000, or it cannot be something that you need to click through 5-6 different protocols and not show basically who you interacted with. App is showcasing you different ways to interact with these protocols with trusted parties like Enso, and basically aggregating the best rates there, and finding the best execution path for you for the intents that you showcase to us. And then recognizing that, build a memory of the things that you did, and of all these shortcuts. And finally, suggest you with insights that are pretty much exactly what you needed in that specific day or that specific moment, to eventually automate a lot of things. So we're gonna basically present during your add liquidity flow, which is basically a shortcut. We're gonna present to you an option of auto claim fees or auto rebalance your position, and all of these things gonna be added progressively as you will just basically build trust and understand that this is just the best execution for you. And it's also free, and the UX is seamless, so you can choose whether to click through it, whether to shortcut to it, or to actually use one of the insights. And yeah, and of course, it's all entirely non-custodial.
Yeah, amazing. So making the future simpler, less complicated, and DeFi more fun for wider audiences. I think.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Okay. Thank you both for attending our podcast. We have come to the end of the session. Now, please remember to follow Enso Build and NuvolariAI on all our socials. We also have a Telegram group where you can join us, especially if you're a builder, if you're a dev, and you are using Enso. You have any questions? Feel free to ask there. We have people around the clock, and we'll be happy to assist you with any help that you might need. Same for NuvolariAI. I believe
Yes.
yeah.
Reach out to us, any future request or pretty much access code, early access code. And yeah, what I would like to definitely extend the invitation to everybody to join our waitlist and get ready to test out.
Sure. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, the audience, for listening. Now we have come to the end of it. Thank you and goodbye.
Cheers.